Okay, so I think I'm gonna start just because I feel like it's time. Okay, so first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to walk you around my indoor space. If you have any questions while I'm doing this, do me a favor, either write it down like on a Post-it if you have a Post-it, or stick it in the chat. Can I enable the chat? Can I do that? There we go.
Hi, Barbara.
Hi. I don't know who said that. I have so many people.
Marielle. You have to tell everybody to mute it. It's the only way it works well.
Thank you. Everyone is muted right now.
Okay, I'm going to mute myself, just giving you some tips that I had from today.
Thank you.
Okay, all mute, and if they put it on the side of the screen, you could see yourself, just you and not other people. There's like a grid.
Go up, there's a thing that said, there's like, on the top bar, there's a way to organize it. So it's gallery view, where you're seeing everyone, and then there's speaker view, which you could see the person who's just talking. And so if everyone's on mute and I'm the one talking, you'll be able to see my things. Okay, so here's the chat. If everybody got that and sees it. If not, you should have on the bottom of your screen a little like speech bubble, and then it says chat, and you should see like a little one, meaning like you got a message. I think. Okay, so what I wanted to do first was I wanted to walk you around my room, and if you see anything that's like, what is that? Why does she have that? Then I want you to either write it in the chat or write it down somewhere else, so that you can ask me after if I don't explain it throughout the whole thing. Okay, so I need to stand up to do this, and alrighty. I wish there was like on a phone, like a reverse view. So this is when you first walk in, this is the view that you see. Okay, this is the whole room. This is my dining room. Okay. It's like I'm trying to look at it from upside down so I could see what you can see. I have a word wall. I wrote Yeshivat B'nai Setehon, which is us. I have my supplies are all here. I have a table, and on it a calendar. Bottle of tequila for everybody. I have my sticks. I have Sharon's work folder, Stephen's work folders. I have my Today I Learned boards. I have my game bin. This is my notebook for notes for today. I have the activity bin, and I have the class wall. It says our work on it. I have my section over there. Those are projects the kids made today. And this is the schedule, which is behind me now. Okay, so if you saw anything, and here's the table where they sit. They each made their own labels, and they have their own seat. Okay. So if you saw anything that was like, oh my gosh, what is that? I want to hear more about it. If I don't bring it up now, then you can ask me about it after. So seeing this as a parent, it might be very overwhelming. I'm not a teacher. This is not my house. Like it's a little bit of a crazy thing, and I know that. And I don't think that I want to ask everyone to do that. I think that the most important thing for a parent to do is to take maybe one or two things that I say today and implement them in your house. You can decide for yourself which one you feel is the most important, because it's very important that your kids are in an environment where they can learn. We don't know how long we're going to be in this situation, and we don't know how long we're going to be in the situation, and we need to make sure that our kids are not really missing a chunk of their education. Personally, I have a daughter in pre-K and a son in first grade, and I don't know, I feel like my daughter's learning letters, and now she's not. And I feel like my son is learning his vowel sounds and things, and now he's not. And so I don't want my children to be part of this coronavirus generation that just missed a chunk of their education. So I really decided I was going to take it into my own hands. I said, you know what? I think I need to stop my life for however many months it is. I am here today. I'm here on this earth with my beautiful children. Hashem gave me them to take care of them. This is my job. If I need to not exercise for a few days, if I need to whatever, like this is what I need to be doing. I need to dedicate my time to my kids. That being said, I want to talk about creating the physical space because it is very important. So the first thing, the one that's right behind me, I can give you a close-up of it. And if anybody wants after, you can text me, email me, call me, and I'll send you close-up pictures of everything. Maybe I'll walk over to it so at least you can see while I'm talking about it. Okay, this is our schedule. It's very long. It goes all the way down here. Okay. The first thing I want to say about it is that it should be very visible and very readable and approachable for your kids. If you notice, it's lower than it normally would be for an adult. I hung it at my kids' eye level so that they don't have to look all the way up to see the top thing. This is their space. This is their room. So that's very important. I also have a break in between each sitting period. So I have the meeting, we sit and tefillah, and then they have snack. So now they're up, they're moving around. Stephen has his live, Sharon has her live, and then they have outdoor recess, and then they have another live, and then they have lunch and an art project, and then we have a brain break, which is when we go on a website called Go Noodle, and we do some activities, or I'll have them do jumping jacks, we'll make up a dance, we'll meditate, we'll do yoga, something where it's like a brain break, they need to get up and move around. English work time, then snack, choice time, and a closing activity. So it's very important that they have time to move around between each thing. And it's also very important that they and you stick to the schedule. If you show them that you're not serious about the schedule, they're not going to be serious about the schedule. If you are late for some things, yes, I can take a picture of my schedule after. Yes, I can send links to supplies. Go Noodle is the best. I am going to, this is why I can't answer questions in the middle. It's very important that you stick to it because if you don't stick to it, they're not going to stick to it and they're not going to think it's serious. Okay? That's that. About the physical space, this is my dining room, but it is no longer my dining room. Your physical space needs to be something that is not used for anything else. I cannot tell you how important this is. This is a classroom. We call it the class. Can you go into the classroom and go grab me a marker? Oh, you know what? You left your computer in the class. It's not my dining room. We eat at my dinette now. We don't have lunch at this table. I'm sitting at the big dining room table. We don't have lunch at this table. We don't have lunch even at that table. That's a learning table. This room is only for that. Whenever the kids walk in here, it's a very different mindset. They walk in and now they're in their own space. You need to have a chair, you need to have a desk. There's no sitting on the floor, there's no sitting on a couch with a blanket. If you're going to learn and if you're going to be serious about it, you need to be dressed properly, sitting properly, at a desk, your feet should be on the floor. Like it should all be very serious. I have the bins, these bins. One is labeled activities, one is games, one is books. Those are the bins for them to choose and do things on their own and independently. Even though it is a space with a lot of rules, it's very important that they have places that they can be independent and turn it into their own. For instance, I had them label their own seats. Like on the first day, they wrote their names in Hebrew and English, they decorated it, I laminated it, and or you can just put like tape over it. They can customize their own space. That's also why I have this art wall, so that they can feel proud of the space and customize it. It makes it colorful and bright, but at the same time, this is a learning space. I also have labels in this room only, everywhere. I labeled all of these bins, first of all. I labeled the desk. Where can you see desk? Pencils, and all of these things have labels. Why? Because first of all, for younger kids, it helps to see words. They'll start to recognize physically what the word looks like in space and hopefully learn to read it eventually. That's one. And two is it also creates an atmosphere of education and of learning. Don't label your whole house, just this room. I am going to get to the questions. I see them all. I want to just, okay. Stick to, you want to keep it neat and colorful. Every time after an activity, there's paper, there's glue, there's things. I am constantly picking up in here and reorganizing everything in here, because a messy space and a crowded space is a crowded head and a crowded brain. You need to have everything clear and organized so that your kids can think in a clear and organized way. Okay. And as for the schedule, it should be similar every day. Personally, this is the schedule I've been following. I mean, whatever, it's only Monday, but we did it on Friday and we did some of it yesterday. I wrote it like this because I don't really plan on changing it. The teachers have their lives at the same time. If I'm gonna do an art project, then I'm gonna do it at the same time every day, just so the kids know what to expect. Continuity is so important for the kids, and they're not getting any of it right now. That's why the first thing on my schedule is morning meeting. I sit down, we do the calendar, what day is it? We sing the calendar song, we put a stick in the cup, we're counting how many days we've been doing this, and then we look at the schedule and we go through each and everything. Imagine this, now you're an adult, right? And school decides that they're just gonna close. And you're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how long this is gonna be for. What am I gonna do about my children's education? Am I going away Passover? Am I not going away Passover? Is there enough food in the butcher? There's a whole bunch of unknowns. Your kids have unknowns in their own world also. Their unknown is they wake up and they go, oh my God, what am I gonna do today? What is school today? Do I have plans? Like, is my mommy, am I allowed to watch TV? Like, what do I do today? So it's very important that you go through the schedule with them and tell them exactly what it is they're going to expect for the day, so that they're calm and it makes you calm, keeps your house calm. Okay. One of the great activities you could do with them is read books. Kids love to be read to, no matter how old they are. Some of you have older kids in high school, middle schoolers, early childhood. The older the kids get, the less they're read to, and the more exciting it becomes. Think about it. Imagine you had to read an article and someone was going to say, no, I'll read it to you. It's so much better, because that way you don't have to read it to yourself. And you're like, oh, really? I can sit down for a minute. I can relax. So your kids really feel like that also. I'm going to get to the questions. It's a good one. In terms of activities, a lot of teachers have been giving lessons and doing lives and things, but I notice and I see amongst a lot of parents, it's really not enough to fill your day. Like, you're home with your kids. You're the mora, you're the mommy, you're the nurse, you're all of it, and it stinks. But right now, it's something we have to do for our kids. We have to give up a little bit of our life and a little bit of our time to do it. One of the best tips that I have is orientaltrading.com. Really, I use it all the time. I buy little prizes, I buy little crafts. They sell 6 blank, umbrellas, and decorate them for $4.99. And now it's like, okay, I have enough umbrella decorating projects for 2 days, or if I have more than one kid or a lot of kids, then I could do all of that. It's worth going on because it's relatively inexpensive and you can get a lot of very cool, cheap projects from there. For example, my Steven, we were doing tefillah and he opened it up and he's like, no, in my classroom, we stand this way. I said, okay, but in our house, we need to stand this way. And so it turned into a whole thing about East and why we pray East. And I went on Oriental Trading and I found this craft for how to make like a rope compass bracelet. And so I bought it because there were 6 of them. I was like, all right, let's do it with Sharon. Let's do it with the thing. Let me make one. Let Jesse make one. Everyone will walk around with one. It really became great. So that's that. YouTube STEM activities, STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. There are so many great activities that you can do with the kids using things around the house. For example, tomorrow, I am going to take a piece of cardboard and some straws, like drinking straws, and they need to take straws and tape to make a path on the cardboard, and we're gonna run a marble down it. So let's test it. Is it gonna fall off? Is it not gonna fall off? What if I do it if it's flat? What if I do it if it's... There's so many cool projects like that you can get online and you can find online. And if you need suggestions, I have some. If you found any good resources online that you love, I happen to really like Staples. Last night I found, well, really, I didn't find it. I can't take credit for it. It came around in one of my chats. I believe it's the Barkai chat. That's cool. It is this. It's the Passover story. And there are empty boxes and captions of each, like of a different part of the story of Pesach, okay? So I said I can either print this out and like staple it, or I can like go to Staples. Look, it's so cute. Okay. So I sent it to Staples and I told them to bind it. And now each one of my kids has a little story from Magid. Even the young ones, you can read the caption, and then the amount of time that they have to spend coloring, the idea really goes into their head. So sending things to Staples is such a good idea. Education.com is one of the best resources I've ever came across in my whole life. You only get like 3 free resources a month, but it's like $5.99 a month, maybe $4.99 a month. And this month, it's the best $5.99 I've ever spent. So I'm just saying, I printed entire workbooks. Stephen's teacher told me that they are starting to learn long vowels, or that they like are going to miss long vowels. So what I did was I went on education.com and I found long vowel workbooks that are totally free, like free. And I sent them to Staples and I had them bind it for me. And now my son's not going to miss his long vowel education because of this. So that's another thing. Okay. A very important piece of this, and I'm looking at the time, I'm very happy that we're still in our time, is the learning attitude and the boundaries you set in your classroom. Okay. First of all, is during the time that you schedule school, you're not allowing them to treat you like mommy. Because if you allow them to treat you like mommy, then they're going to abuse that. So they have to ask you to go to the bathroom. They have to ask you for a snack. They have to, all of these things. And don't ever ask them anything. Oh, could you come here and do your work? No, because then they're going to tell you, no, I can't. It's come here and do your work. Get into the classroom. It's not, you know what, please come here for a minute. It's no, this is what you're doing right now. There's no, can you, please, will you? And it took me a very long time. Happens to be, I've been practicing it over years of my life, but you'll catch yourself doing it now that I pointed it out to you, hopefully, and you won't do it anymore. It's a great lesson in life in general. Don't ever ask your kids anything. Don't ever ask your husband anything. I don't know. Always tell them. Do you want to come do work now? No, I do not want to come do work now. Okay. But come do work now is very different. You keep school and home separate. So the first way to do that, like I said, is you're not mommy at that time. Oh, they're standing up and they're, mom. No, sit down. You don't talk to me like that. Please sit down and let's finish the work. If you have a question, you can raise your hand. Like, it's very important that you totally take on a different role for a few minutes, because it makes all the difference in the world. So you're keeping home and school separate physically, but also mentally, and your whole demeanor should change when you're in school and when you're out of school. So for example, tonight at bedtime, Stephen was saying, oh, Mom, I really want to work on finishing that art project from school today, right? Because that's really how we refer to it. We call it school. We're not home. I really want to finish the art project. I said, no, let's do mommy stuff. But had it been during school time, I would have been like, Stephen, this is not a choice. We have art now. So it's very different that you set very strict limits with them. We call it a classroom, to the point where today I know I keep talking about Stephen, but it really it shows. Today he was on a live session with his teacher, and the teacher was saying, okay, everyone, bye, have a good time at home or something. And he raised his hand and he said, but I'm not home. And the teacher said, what do you mean? He said, no, I'm in school. It's called homeschool, Maura. It's school. And she was like, oh, okay. It's really very serious to them. Sharon raised her hand and said, Mom, can I go to the bathroom? She's 4. So it really is a thing. I have to tell you, in terms of their behavior also, they're not fighting as much. They're not getting on my nerves. They're not getting on each other's nerves, because the minute it happens, if we're in school time, I'll give that look and be like, is this what you would do in school? And they would just stop, because it's school time. It's not home time. When the minute school ended, they were up each other's butts. but while school was happening, they weren't. Okay. Another thing is in terms of boundaries and learning attitude, like I said, there's no lunch in here. You're not allowed inside the school. I'm not even gonna do it anymore because it's school, it's real school. You're not allowed inside school, not on school hours, okay? Oh, can I borrow a yellow marker from school? What are you gonna do? You're gonna drive there? Because you can't go in. That's it, we're out. It really makes a big difference because the minute they walk in there the next day, the minute they walk in here the next day, their whole attitude changes because it's like, oh, okay, I'm in a place. It's like, this is a thing. No schoolwork outside of school hours. Like I said, oh, I want to work on my art project. No, you cannot work on your art project, save it for tomorrow. There's also no fake time. It's not cute. Like if your husband is working from home and has a minute for lunch and he decides he's going to come in and sit at lunch and eat his thing and do his work and a text, he can't come in. He can't come in. Oh, wait, tell me what you're doing. He can't come in. Unless he's going to sit down and teach your children something or come in and refer to you as, oh, Mara, wait, can you tell me more about that? If he's going to come in and out and in and out, that's not how a classroom would run. That's not how your home is going to run. Because now the minute there's a relaxed attitude and the minute he's like this now on his phone, your kids are going, Dad, no, there is no want to see anything. There is no nothing. You're in school. Anyone who knows my husband can ask him, I regular kick him out of this room all the time. I do. Because you can't. Today, he called from the kitchen, guys, can I eat lunch in there? And my son called back, no, it's school. Okay, we're very strict and you really have to be. That's all my notes. So I think I'm gonna unmute everybody if you could be quiet. And then I'll answer the questions just so everybody could do that. Okay. What? Until I finish the answers in the chat. Okay. How do you manage everyone's schedule at the same time? Wait, there's more. Can you take a picture of your schedule after? Yes. Are you really sticking to the schedule? Sounds so tiring. It is. I'm exhausted. But I have to tell you, for me, it's the benefit of my kids. Like I said, I really need to put my life on hold for a minute. My kids are the most important thing right now. And I don't know what's happening in this world, but I couldn't sleep nights thinking about my kids missing large chunks of their education. It bothered me very much. And I said, the truth is, the reason I'm here and the reason I'm on this earth, Hashem put me here to take care of my children. This is it. So if I have to give 4 months, I'm going to give 4 months. And I'm going to look back on it and I'm going to be happy I did. So yeah, it's exhausting. Suggestions for lack of space. Yeah. If you're going to have some sort of classroom thing and you don't have an extra room to give to it, everything should be facing the wall. Nothing is facing outwards. So you, let's say, can sit, so let's say like this is your wall. You can sit facing outwards. I'm going to show you. Like this is like, the reason I didn't use this, by the way, as part of my classroom desk is because there's no back. Kids can't focus when there's no back. I'm like, there's none of that. But anyway, you facing outwards and the kids have to face you and all the information goes back here. You can't let them see outward. They are facing like you right now. You guys are facing me. This is behind me. Maybe you want to put less distracting things back there. Maybe you want to hang your schedule back there. But your desk is facing the wall. There's no outdoor, like no outward anything. And they're not allowed to sit in those chairs when it's not school time. They're not allowed to take anything from the desk when it's not school time. They're not allowed to do school outside school time. Your husband can't sit. Like it's all the same thing. It's just, it needs to be an isolated space. Should send us our project ideas and supplies we should have in the house. Really, supplies you have in the house already are supplies you could use. Like I said, YouTubing STEM ideas is a very good one. Suggestions for parents who may still need to go to work. Very hard. Very hard. I think that whoever is home with a child needs to make sure that the child is doing something. So what I would tell whoever is at home, I would tell them, this is school time. They have to do X, Y, Z. I'd leave that person a list. I'd leave my kids a list. And I would make sure that that person was being very specific. No TV, no, like you might not be able to do all of this and stick to a strict schedule, but there are certain rules that you should follow. No TV, no, snack all over the place. Like little things that people can be on top of, they should definitely be on top of. So if you have more questions about that. When do you have time for yourself? Now, at night when they're sleeping. Really, that's it. Like I said, I had to make sacrifices. I sacrificed my dining room. I sacrificed my, sanity for my children. I mean, isn't that what we all do for our children anyway? And if I don't exercise and I get a little fat for 4 months, I will be okay because my kids are okay. That's what I decided. How can we modify for ourselves to cook and exercise? Very good question. There are certain activities that you can have your kids do at specific times. So it also connects with having kids on different grade levels and different times and different things. I'm a teacher also. I have my 3rd grade class that I have to be on live for from 9:30 to 10:15. So from 9:30 to 10:15, my kids are doing tefillah with a recording. So you can schedule your time specifically. If you want to attend a live Zumba class at 9:30, then guess what? Your kids have snack and recess at 9:30 for an hour. Like that's how it has to be done. And if your kids have a live time with their teacher, then you don't have Zumba. Like you need to really think about those things. Also want to know about lack of space without a dedicated separate room, like I said. How do you manage everyone's schedule at the same time? Like I said, kids who can't do Zoom or raw kids, those are the ones that are involved in snack and recess and art projects and brain breaks. You're keeping them involved with all of those things. If they're like, old enough where they want to learn something, I recommend education.com. I recommend certain websites like Scholastic, which is giving away free resources. Email them to Staples, bind it, tell them they have their own booklet. When your kids are doing English, they're doing coloring. Can you write all the sites and tips along with supplies? I could. Miss Kindergarten is good for free printables. Yes, it is. Also, there's another one called Crazy Dad Worksheets, K with a K. They have like math ones and they have games and Sudoku and things like that. When you have a baby home, I do. How do you have school time when they're up? It's very hard. It's very hard. I really close it. I'm very thankful. I have my husband home. I have my housekeeper home. Today, my husband, because the same way we have school, he locks himself in a room and he calls it work. He's technically, he could be in I was going to say China, but not China. He could be anywhere. Laughing at me? He's laughing at me. He could be anywhere, but not here. Thankfully, I have a housekeeper home. I try to do intense things with my kids when he's napping. Really is the best I could tell you. It's very hard. And not, you're only one person. You can't give everything to everybody, and it is what it is. I didn't see my baby today. It's hard. What about when school ends? What does the schedule look like from 3:30 to dinner time? So it's a lot freer than school time, but it's generally about the same. I want to tell you, I give the minute school's over, I turn the TV on for them. Take a minute, guys, relax, veg out, do it. And then that'll give me time to make dinner for my husband, make dinner for them. I can give the baby an early bath or whatever. It gives me time. Go ahead, watch TV, do whatever you want. Go play outside, I don't care. And that's when the teacher shuts off and the mommy shuts on. It turns on. Can I have a snack? Go have a bunch of snacks. Go watch TV. I don't care. You need a minute too to. So that's that. I've noticed that 6-year-old will sometimes need a break. How long should that last? It's a thing. It's totally a thing. If that's something that you notice that they need, then have them get up, walk around the room, go get water, go outside and breathe 10 breaths of fresh air. Give them some kind of break that's going to last 1 to 2 minutes, and schedule your sessions shorter. So maybe it's not going to be, they can't sit for 45 minutes and then get full recess. Maybe they need 20 minutes and then 20 minutes and then 20 minutes and 20 minutes. So it's important for that also. You said your husband can't eat with the kids. Right. Unless they're having lunch and he's having lunch. Everybody, it's time for lunch. We're going into the dinette. Husband, it's lunchtime. If you want to see your kids, come now. Like, that's what we do. Where do your kids eat while they eat lunch and snack? The dinette. I've noticed my 6, oh, we said that already. How do you come up with a schedule for them? I might have missed it in the beginning. I didn't necessarily explain how, but I did explain the sessions and then the breaks and the sessions and the breaks, the schedule of their time. Like, the teacher learning time is the time that their teachers are prepared for them to learn. And then I really gathered my inspiration from everywhere. Choice time is something like, I'll write on a board, here are your 3 choices. None of them are ever TV or technology. It's like blocks, coloring, build a paper airplane, things like that. And I make them write their names on a whiteboard underneath. Can you elaborate what your children do on break? Yes. Oh, is recess in the room? No, it's outside. It's outside. If it's raining, I kind of also think I want it to be outside. Just because they need air. They need to breathe. So they'll go outside, and maybe I'll tell them, I keep saying 10 jumping jacks, maybe I'll have them do that. Or like, me and my kids made up like a fun dance and thing. Like, it's just helpful for them to be outside for a minute. Recess is not in this room. This room is a learning only room. It's like when you have a baby and they tell you, don't put toys in the crib, because they associate the crib with sleeping, and then it's the same idea. Don't put toys in the crib. Don't eat where you learn. Don't exercise where you learn. It's the same type of thing. Can you elaborate what children break? Yes. Like I said, it's a little bit of those things. Sometimes I'll put on, I'll YouTube like a meditation, or today we did yoga, like kids yoga, cosmic kids yoga. My daughter's 4 and they did like a frozen yoga. It was great. Sometimes we'll just get up and stand in the other room and like play a rhyming game or like a hand thing. Like, it's literally a 10-minute thing. How long does each break last? 10 minutes. Everybody's unmuted if you have questions that you actually want to ask, or you want me to show you something.
You have to know how to mobilize the federal government. You have to know how to manage the federal government.
Very helpful tips.
Thank you. So I want everyone now to think about 1 or 2 things that I said. Yes. 1 or 2 things that I said that you want to implement in your own house. Your house doesn't have to look like this. I'm not going to lie, it's not normal. I know it. I plan and I get nervous. So pick 1 or 2. So many questions. Can you give more info about the What I Learned board? Yeah, I can. I have a What I Learned board for each kid, and at the end of the day, I make them write on it. Yesterday's was so much more impressive than this one. We made 3D projects. The reason that I do this, but Sharon, we learned how to make, and she wrote matzah. And then we explained that mix flour in the water in 18 minutes. The reason for that is so that they know that they're being accountable for what they learn, and the fact that they have to think about it at the end of the day makes their brain have to circle back on the day, and it seals in everything that they've learned. Even as a teacher, it's just to do that. At the end of the lesson, ask what I learned today, and now the kid has to filter the information and bring it back out. And if they can't think of anything, then you can start talking about, well, we did art, we did science, we did this, we did that, and something would come up. My son was like, I didn't learn anything new, I reviewed. I said, fine, so tell me what you did today. What did we do? It's also so cool for you to hear what they took away from the day. And it also gives you information, oh, I taught this one thing and they didn't get it. So, hold them accountable, because I know that they should the end of the day, and it's very hard to have middle schoolers in the same class as younger kids. Who is it more inclined to have space for? It depends on the kid, and it depends also really on what they're learning. I think that for younger kids, I feel like my kids are building foundations that I don't want them to miss. Whereas a middle schooler, it depends on work and it depends on research, it might not need me as much. I would probably schedule My younger kids break time with the time I have to be with my older one just to check in and see what's going on, because you can't just leave them to roam free. But that's another thing. I also have my older one, instead of reading on his own today, read to the younger one. So a cool thing to do is, like, the older one has to read an article off of a computer or whatever, to have them read it, write a summary, and teach it to the younger one. So now, oh, okay, I read it. Now that this is a crazy concept, but now that you have to take it in some
Barbara,
way. So
Barbara, what?
yes,
We can't hear you. Mute everyone so we could hear you. There was a lot of background noise.
got it. Okay, fine. So you can have the older one participate in activities with the younger one, like reading them books or teaching them something new. They can do the art stuff together. For older ones, like a STEM type of activity is really, really cool. You know, a younger one can put straws on a thing, but an older one can make tubes and, and definitely having them together for whatever you can and leaving them separate for whatever you can. I would suggest alternating recess things. Oh, mute, please. Everybody mute, sorry. Does your 4-year-old distract your 6-year-old? Sometimes, but then I'll really have to turn and be like, this is not what we do right now. Like, do you need to take a walk? Let's go take a walk. And then we'll get up and we'll go and we'll drink water and we'll, whatever. And then, she'll come back and that's it. It's the most important thing is really being very strict about it. My kids know that it's school and that it's serious and that we're not messing up. And that's also the reason that I have the game bins and the activity bins. Because if she's done with something, my younger one, and she's gonna start now distracting, and the reason that they distract and that they do that is because they have nothing to do and they're bored. So give them a game, give them a thing. I thought about doing this today, but then I realized that I should be stocking up on food and not wasting it. But there's this very cool activity where you take strands of spaghetti and you give them spaghetti and you give them marshmallows, like mini ones, and you say, okay, build something that's at least this tall and it stands on its own. And I actually read, I think, in an article that kindergartners and young kids do much better with this activity than older ones, because older ones will think, well, I know strategically it's supposed to be like this, and kindergartners will do something and then it just will fall, and so they'll be like, okay, and then they'll just fix it and then it'll fall, and okay, and they end up building the most out-of-the-box creative things. So giving your younger one activities like that while your older one is working might also help solve some of the distracting things. Do you involve them in making lunch or dinner chores? Yes, but I do it as an option. So lunch, no, because I'll do it while they're at recess or whatever. And dinner is technically after school time. So that is whenever I said don't ever ask. That's when I ask. So school's over and it's like, okay, I am making pizza for dinner. I have a big dough. Does anybody want to help me roll it out and put sauce? No, I want to relax and watch TV. Yes, I want to do that. No, that's when I'll do that. Oh, I am making asparagus. Does anybody want to help me rip and break them off? Yeah, or no. Like, I like to give them the choice and the freedom to just veg out also. I think it's important. And in terms of chores, yeah, like you have to keep your space clean. Your papers are all over the place. What are we going to do with this? A lot of it's really about the classroom and their space more than anything else. Because once they leave here, I feel like their brains need a break. I don't know if there are more questions. Can you go over a little more detail the schedule? Yeah. I bought this schedule in Staples. It was all of $6.50, just saying. And I really like it. So morning meeting, like I said, is one of the most important things that we do because we review the schedule of the day. Remember how I talked about how you're nervous because you don't know what's to be for the next 4 months? They're nervous because they don't know what's to be for the next 4 hours. So the first thing that we do is the date, and we count the days and what's the weather, depending on how young they are, and then what we're going to do today. The next thing after that is tefillah. Like I said, for my kids, it's independent with a recording because that's when I have to go live with my class. Snack. Stephen has his live and Sharon has her live. we're very lucky that we have 2 devices because they're both at the same time. After that, they sat for a long time with their teachers and raising their hands. So outdoor recess, we moved to Deal. So we have our like backyard swing situation. But if not, I would say go outside, maybe put some, I don't know, some mats on the ground and have them jump or whatever. Like this that I got, it's like an ABC mat also, like a Walmart thing, $20. And it's fun because you lay it out now and you can say, okay, jump from the S to the H to the A, like spell their name out and they're jumping, but do it outside so that they can get some air and so that they're not always in this room. That's outdoor recess. They have another live, and then we have lunch. And then we have an art project, which is like a STEM project, or like I said, an Oriental trading project. I'm waiting for my order to come because it's coming on Thursday. Brain break, I mentioned, was a few things that they can just take a minute to like, you know, do different things like meditate or yoga or whatever. English work time is when they'll either meet live with their teacher or work on one of the booklets that the teacher gave them or work on one of the booklets that I made, like the Passover one. Then snack and recess. Choice time, like I said, a few non-technology related things. So like block.
Can you zoom out from it so that I can take a picture of it?
Yes. Yes. Is that good? I feel like it's so eeny weeny. And closing.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah. And closing activity is when we do what I learned today and we discuss the day. Okay. And then somebody had a question about the activity bin. In the activity bin, I have things that I made. Happens to be, this is like the most overwhelming bin for a parent who's not also a teacher, because these are all things that I like made as a teacher. But first of all, I have different flashcard things. Who remembers these? I found them in my house. Do they still make them? I don't know. But I found first grade ones and kindergarten ones. These are sheets that I printed and then laminated. Like, again, this is an education.com one. And I laminated it so that he can write on it with like Expo marker. So that's that. And then I have all these other games that I printed out and put in bags. So for example, or even these I made. If you want ideas, let me know. These are pieces of paper with just like letters like this. And then it comes with a set of vowels and they have to pick the right one and read the word. So like that's top and that's tip and that's not a word and they have to know that. So these I made. So this is really what's in the activity bin. If you want ideas for this, it takes like a nervous planner like me to make, but they're kind of fun. What's the thing under the poster that says Sutton House? I'm gonna show you. It's the word wall. Every time we learn something new, like a new word, I like to put it on there so that I could be like in morning meeting or whatever, I could be like, guys, remember we learned this yesterday? What is it? So yesterday's project was making posters in art. So the kids made stuff like, I'll show you after, it's not that important. But whatever, Stephen made a poster and then he wrote Olam and he's like, it's for Sharon to learn Hebrew. So they can do that too, the older ones. Anyway, it's a word wall, so they learn Hametz, and then I made the Sadi Sophie and Stephen went, that's not how. So that. We also learned the word hypothesis because we did this very cool experiment with exo markers and water. And then I put arrows, and then being the like perfectionist that I am, realized that there's not enough room for words. So I have hanging little cards that I can write words onto because there wasn't enough room on the poster. So that's that. I'm really like, okay to take any question, any like more things. And if you need ideas for things like this, I have a bunch. Just saying. Okay. Do they do their lives in the same room? No. It's very distracting. And if they do, one has to be wearing headphones. And they have to be facing separate walls. They're not looking at each other. They're not, nothing. Nothing. Like I said, everything has to be facing the other way. Even whatever, like even their bodies, because I learned from experience that if you have one group functioning here and one group there, if the two speakers are facing each other, the voices will carry. So if you have them in the same room for space reasons, one person has to be facing this way so that they have headphones on and their voice is going this way, and the other person has to be facing this way so that, again, because the sound will travel in the room. I guess it's like an experience thing, but they need to be facing opposite directions if they are in the same room. Any ideas for a 3-year-old? Yeah, tons. My daughter's 4, so it's kind of very similar. A lot of coloring, a lot of things. I would go on websites like education.com or even on YouTube or even Google things, maybe Scholastic, and I would look for pre-K things because it'll probably give you some kind of inspiration to, like, as to what to do. I love, let me see if I have it, I don't know. I love like letter writing things. So for them, it's coloring and they're following a line or tracing a line. I'm trying to think where it is. Oh, I also have, you can order, by the way, you can buy these things in like Staples or like the pharmacy. This is a cutting book. It's cute because it gives them like, it, you know, OT things also. They cut and they, whatever. It's a cutting book. You can look on Amazon for these things, and because they told all their workers to stay home, you can get it in like 3 months. No, I'm kidding. Really? Maybe like a week. This is one of the books. So school gives these books out, but you can order them on Amazon also. It's great. I also saw another question from someone who said, how much work do you give them outside of school? Outside of what their teacher is giving them. Honestly, it's a very personal thing. I give them enough so that I feel like they're not missing a chunk of their lives. You know, no matter how much online, no, is not what I want to say. I want to say 1 20-minute or hour session with a teacher is not the same thing as having somebody face-to-face all the time. And so I asked their teachers, you should ask their teachers, I asked their teachers, what are the next goals for these, you know, for this grade, for these kids? So I found out from my son that he's doing long vowels. So I went and I printed long vowels. I asked my daughter's teacher at the end of the year, what do you need them to walk away with? What's the goal? And she said, oh, well, we need them to be able to write their name and they should count to 20. And like the teacher can give you standards and you can go online and do counting to 20 exercises or counting to 20 lesson plans, and you'll find things that you can print and email to Staples or just print or even online games. So that's whatever. Definitely important. I read online today Scholastic is offering their Learn at Home program. Yes. During the outbreak, have you used it? And if so, what age group is it good for? I actually have not used it, but I have used a lot of Scholastic resources before in my classroom that I'm assuming they have in there also. Their grade level material happens to be very on target for grade level, meaning it's not like 3rd grade is really for 2nd or really for 4th. It's like how shoes run true to size. It's like that. So it's very, very good like that. They have great articles. They have great, Scholastic has a lot of debates. So like they'll have, let's say, kids say this and kids say that. That's a really cool thing to do with older kids and younger kids. Read both sides and then facilitate a discussion. Well, what do you think about it? Well, why do you think is right? Why do you, like, get them talking. One of the greatest blessings of this time is that the families can spend time together and talk. So it's really cool to hear people's opinions about things like that. Can you send out some of the names, some of the workbooks you like? Personally, I'm not super duper familiar with all of them. I have some, but you really have to go through the pages because like Scholastic, or unlike Scholastic, these are not, the shoes run big and small is what I mean. Each page is a little different. Like this one says pre-K, but really it's like for my 1st grader. I don't know. But then some of it is not. So you really have to pick and choose based on your child's ability level. Totally. Can you send out the names of some workbooks? That was that question. Each kid has a spot they like to Zoom. What would you do to keep that a school vibe? Also, my 4.5-year-old is doing nothing at all besides 20 minutes a day. Help. I know. Each one has a spot they like to Zoom. What would I do? I would make sure that they turned around and that they're in their own corner and in their own space. I cannot tell you how important that is. If they're out facing the world, their brain is at the world. If they're in, now look at you. You guys are looking at me, and you're only looking at me because there's a wall behind me. Do you want to know what I see? This is what I see. Okay, so you can imagine that my brain's in 1,000 more places than yours during this time. So it's very important that you think about what they're looking at when they're learning. It's a big deal. Also, my father doing nothing at all besides 20 minutes a day help. I know it's tough. But like I said, there are definitely some activities and things you can print. I might recommend a coloring book. I might recommend STEM activities. Why don't you go online and Google STEM, S-T-E-M activities for a 4-year-old. And you'll probably find really cool things. I did this great experiment yesterday where we took an Expo marker and we colored on a Pyrex, and then we slowly dropped water in, and the picture lifted off the bottom of the Pyrex and was like floating around. And we made sharks, and we made jellyfish and things. And that's where we got the word hypothesis from. I was like, what do you think is gonna happen? You know, in science, that's called a hypothesis. Like, you can stick things like that in there, no problem. So that's really like what I would do with younger kids. I don't know. Did that help? Did that, what I say about the 4.5-year-old help? Hope so. Is that it? It's like, I don't know if I'm having so much fun, guys. This is my favorite thing.
This was great.
Thank you. The minute that Barkai sent out the thing and was like, let's, you know, find some way to keep our community together or whatever, I was like, I have a thing. I have a thing I want to do. Like, this is whatever. So I'm just really happy that it worked out. And if you have any other questions, you could totally get in touch with me. And if you don't know how, then you can email Barkai. I don't know.
Thank you.
Of course. Can I send my kids to you? So my husband was like, well, it's a $500 enrollment fee and then $15,000 if you want to come. So, you know, that's what we're charging, I guess. I don't know. Okay, good. I'm happy that it worked out for everybody. And if you have any other questions, I think I might just stay for a few minutes. Just like leave it on for no reason. Because now I told you about keeping a space clean. I took out 1,000 things to talk to you. And now you see, if you were looking at this while you were learning, this is like my brain is that. So don't do that. Okay. What is your email? Good question. It's bsutton812@gmail. I'm going to write it. Should I just write it? I should write it so that it's there. And putting it in the chat. What about older kids? Older kids are a little bit harder, like I said. They definitely do things independently a lot. So I would schedule time to check in with them for sure, get them started on something. I think that, like I said in the beginning, reading to them is so great. So like if you got time and you put, because you're not going to be able to be in 1,000 places at once. So the most amount of time that you can have all of your kids together is great. The art project time, the science experiment, STEM project building time, and reading time is really good for that also. I might suggest like a chapter book, something like James and the Giant Peach, or, you know, like something that's on a 4th or 5th grade level, because if you read it out loud to your younger ones, they'll probably get it. And your older ones might even be able to take turns reading with you so that, you know, you're helping the younger ones and, you know, you're getting involved with everybody all together. So the art, the reading, like I said, if your older one is doing some kind of work, maybe schedule a fun time for them to teach your younger ones. If your older ones are in school or having a live learning about a really cool thing about the, I don't know, Magid in the Seder, maybe you want to explain, maybe you want to have them teach it to your younger kids. It's been proven that if you teach things your brain processes them more and better so that you internalize it more. It's the same idea as thinking again about what you learned throughout the day and writing it on a what I learned thing. Your brain needs to process it again. So if you have an older one teach a younger one something, that's great. Email. Did it. Okay. Anything else? I feel like I want to be the last one to leave because I want to answer all the questions. I feel like we're in a no, you hang up. No, you hang up. I feel like that's what we're doing. Are you not going in the school on weekends? No, we're not going in the school on weekends. We are not going in the school on weekends. We might be doing, it's like, what are we supposed to do? We're still in quarantine on the weekends. Every day feels like a Sunday. I get that. But if we are doing things on weekends, it's art. And if we are doing art, it's not in the classroom. It is outside if it's a nice day. It is in the other room. It is in the kitchen by the dinette. Maybe we're making, paper flowers or whatever. It is project and art related, maybe even a cool STEM experiment, no problem, but it's not happening in here. Not happening here. Tips for making your own bulletin boards. So, okay, I actually have a bulletin board in my house. Not like hanging, I'm not like a crazy lady, but I'm gonna go get it. It's not educational, it's more of a like chart to help them stay in their rooms. Like I said, my kids are 4 and 6 and they now and Deal sleep in the same room. So they get out all the time and it drives me nuts, but they're sleeping now. But I'm gonna show you the board that I made because instead of making a chart where every day you have to add a sticker or you have to write something down and a thing and you gotta print out another one and I lost it and it's crumply, I was like, I'm buying a bulletin board. So I did. I don't know if anybody ever read the book Flat Stanley, but he gets flattened by a bulletin board. And right after I bought it, my son was like, Ma! Anyway, this is the bulletin board for our system. Sleeping, it looks ridiculous. And it's a little bit of a crazy system, but they've grown with it. This is Stephen and this is Sharon, and they have different things that they can work for at night. So if they stay in their room, then they get to work for one of these things. So like this is me. So Sharon wants to work for mommy time tomorrow night. That means she gets a timed 10 minutes, just me and her, no distractions, no anything. Stephen can work for our books. He can work to go to the Shabbat party. He can work for a massage. He likes massage. And if they stay in their rooms, then in the morning, there'll be a check there. And it's great because it's not like I'm keeping track of anything. We're not, whatever. It's just you either do it and you do it and you don't and you don't. So tips for making bulletin boards, I would tell you for your own, because you're not interested in my sleep routine, is if it's a bulletin board that's interactive like this and you're going to be moving things around, I highly recommend laminating things. And I also recommend push pins as opposed to staples, because something that's stapled on, you can't move around as much. Okay. I also think that it should be very colorful so that it draws the eye, because if you want to put information on a bulletin board, you're going to want it to be used. Really, and that's it. I mean, I think that as much as you can involve the kids in the creation of it, do that. Like my kids decided that they wanted it on orange paper. My kids picked the rewards themselves, so they definitely did that. I think these are things that you can buy on Amazon. These are also things you can make. You can take a construction paper, make a border, you can do whatever you want. But like I said, my best suggestion is if it's interactive, it's laminated, and it's with push pins, and if it's not, then it can be whatever it wants to be. And in terms of my wall that I probably am ruining, but it's okay because it's a rental and our landlords aren't on this thing, is this wall. And this is a bulletin board just more to celebrate and like their work and to be proud of them so they can see it and they can be proud and all of that. It's not really about giving over information like that one is. This one's more like, this is their space. This is where they're gonna live. This is where they're gonna be. They made this rainbow. They're really proud of the rainbow. This is my world, and I wrote Olam on it, and now Sharon will know that world is Olam. Like, these are things that they're proud of. Those two. These are projects we made today. It's another cool idea for a project, meanwhile, because we, it was very easy. I cut up the back of a cardboard box and I cut strips of paper and I had them, we made 3D art. We learned what 3D was today. And they glued down different sides of it. And then like they made circles and they made things. And this one is Sharon's. I don't know what it is, but Steven decided that this one is a park. So he made like a thing that goes up and down or whatever. This is a very cool project just because it really is the back of a Magic Chef. I don't know what that is. It's the back of a box. And these are just construction papers. We made a roller coaster. I don't know what that was. Okay, anyway. Those are really projects that we're doing for art time. Those are really good STEM projects. Those are things to do on weekends, not in this room. So yeah, in terms of bulletin boards, there are two kinds, a useful one and an enjoyment one. When do you have time to cook? I cook when, after school at like 3, 4 o'clock when I tell my kids go watch TV, bye guys, that's when I cook. Can you recommend good 4th grade books? Probably, I'll email you. Sunday ideas, themes, art, spa, sports, movies, I love that. Tips for getting young, resistant kids on the program. I think it needs to be more not an option. We're not asking. It's not a question. Come sit down. It's school time. You're not going to call me mommy. You're going to call me Maura or whatever, however you want to do it. This is our classroom. This is what we're going to do today. No. Yes. But I don't want to. I'm sorry. You're home. You're in my house. This is your classroom. And without it, like we're not like, don't even give them a reason. Don't even give them a reason. Like, don't say, oh, without it, you won't have education. Then they'll be like, well, I don't want, there's nothing. There's nothing to say. You are coming in here. I am your mom and I am your Maura. Sit down. We have work to do. There's no, like, the more reasons you give, the more things they have to say about those reasons, and they're not necessary. It's the same thing. We don't ask. There's no asking. We don't do that. That's it. After this, nobody's gonna ask again. I'm so happy. Can you keep us posted on projects and different things you do with them throughout the week? Maybe. I don't want to sign myself up for more work. Honestly. I was thinking about it. I was like, well, send me your emails. I'll send a list. I don't know. Listen, if you really want to know what I'm doing, email me that day and be like, what was your art project today? I need an idea. And then I'll email you my project. I'm not like making a newsletter. I love you guys. I'm not doing it. It's another thing. Learn how to say no. Okay, we understand. Thanks, Joyce. Can you send us good educational websites to do? So it depends on your age, like children's ages. But like I said, education.com is great. Even Googling things, like I know that my 3rd grade class now is working on multiplication. So I Googled multiplication online, free games, and I found multiplication.com. And there are really cool games on there. One of the most important things they tell you as a teacher is do your lesson first. Go through it yourself. So if you're looking for a game, play it. Play the whole thing so that you understand the rules, you understand where the hangups are, you understand where the glitches are, you see where the problem is, so that when somebody comes to you and says, Maura, it's not working, you could be like, oh, yes, I know. It's because this and this and this. Not like to sit there and be like, why, what, You know, like now I'm planning my lessons and I'm doing all these Google Classroom Zoom things. I've logged into Zoom 1,000 times before this. I logged into all my online activities as a student. I made a separate student username to see what it all looks like. So if you're ever going to give your children something, do it first. Are there ads that pop up that might be inappropriate? You don't know. So it's very important that you do the whole thing first. That's like a parent-teacher thing. If you want specific websites for specific grades or specific activities for things, then just email me. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. Can you say, oh, it's the same thing. Okay. Guys, does anybody want to unmute and say something? I feel like I've been talking to myself for an hour.
This was perfect. Thank you.
Oh, good. I'm so happy.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got it. Do you think we can check in another time? Honestly, yeah. Like I'm totally that I'm open to. Like if you want to pick 2 things that you want to take away and try it for like 2 days, then come on back and let me know how it's going. We could do that.
Thank you.
Okay, you got it. Email me to set it up. Email me to let me know. Here are the 2 things I want to work on. Could we talk in 2 days? I'm very happy doing this. Okay. Would you want to regroup next week, same time, let's say? Honestly, I can't say because we have staff meetings and like all classes and all these things that we have to do. So I can't promise a time, but I'm very happy to regroup next week. If you want, how about this? If you want to regroup and reschedule, I can't talk anymore. See, it's because I'm facing a mess, everybody. This is why. See, don't do that. If you want to get together again to discuss, email me and I will know now that you are on a list of people that want to get together and discuss, and I will make a day and time when I can. Yes? I'm gonna put my email on. Put me on, thanks, Barbs. Okay, email me, I'm not gonna remember. I'm gonna put it all in a list, in a thing, email me. Okay. I'm so happy. I'm so happy that everybody loved it. I think I'm gonna hang up. Bye.